Welcome back. This is the first game of the Legacy portion. This time Devin Russell is on the bottom of the screen, aka Mana Boat, with Alex Adams, Jocon 99 up the top of the screen. And again for the final match, I'm joined by Oliver King.
So Devin is leading 2-0 right now, right? He won both standard and modern.
Yeah, two close ones. And um, in terms of the point system for the league, Alex has picked up 2 points by taking a game in both of those. And I think I need to say straight up here, I've have commentated a few of these, but Legacy is certainly not my forte.
Well, if anyone is on elves, then I can.
Well, didn't we
I
just
can.
see this in the last game?
Yeah, maybe he loaded up his modern deck. Let's see.
Well, the Savannah is a Legacy land,
That's
green
right.
light. Um, but we are Wild Nikado. I haven't seen this in modern in Legacy before. I'm sure it's the deck exists. And actually, having said that, I know the deck exists because one of Alex's reservations prior to the league starting was that he was a legacy player, and he wasn't too familiar with standard and modern. So this is
Okay.
his bread and butter.
All right. Let's see if he can avoid the sweep here.
Gataxian Probe first up, so we're probably looking at some sort of Delver deck here. And this fetch will tell us what he's on. Grixis Delver, I'm guessing, for Devin. Doesn't muck around. For some reason, my screen doesn't show, but that was a fatal push. Was that a promo fatal push or the normal fatal push?
Let's check the graveyard here.
It shows it's one of those cards that I haven't downloaded the image for, which is very strange.
Yeah, FNM promo.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know how to get those promos, so the images don't appear on my screen.
So I guess for Gataxian Pro, we don't get to see the hand, huh?
No, we can request to have a look. Oh, that hurts. Main deck, Bajuka Book. It'll force Devin to exile his graveyard. A Pauper All-Star as well. Yeah, that's a killer for Devin because he would have been setting up next turn for possibly a delve threat like Tasiga. Assuming Tasiga's played in Legacy. I'm showing my noobness.
Mm-hmm.
Let me quickly have a look and see what Grixis Delver plays. Let's see, Grixis Delver. No Tasiga. There's a Gurmag Anglers, Deathrite Shamans, Delver of Secrets, and possibly Pyromancers.
Oh, we got Sultai here.
Sultai Delver.
There we go.
So this plays the card that was printed in Conspiracy, something the Emissary of Trest, Leovold. Yeah. And again, I don't know much about Legacy, but that card gets a lot of complaints and whining. People saying it should be banned. I believe off the top of my head, it enables its controller to draw a card whenever a permanent that they control is targeted by a spell.
Just another promo card. Stoneforge Mystic.
That will probably be the GP promo, I'm guessing. Yep, GP promo. Yeah, I'll have to look into how to download these promo images, because it doesn't look good on the stream. finds the Batterskull, so he can play Batterskull next turn. Get rid of that Delver immediately.
No counter spell from Devin there.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he doesn't have a removal for the Mystic, it's almost game over here. Yeah, and Devin just makes a comment, red, green, who knew? So we know he does have the Batterskull in hand. He's on 3 mana, so he's not too far off casting it. But says Delver. This is a 4-color Delver deck actually. Hopefully it doesn't run into any issues with the daze bug.
Right. Here's the cat. Another Hierarch.
One, two, three, four. He has missed his land drop this turn. But Devin at the bottom of the screen will be aware that the Batterskull is potentially coming down next turn.
Mm-hmm.
He might have the Force of Will as well. I'm just having a quick look for recent deck lists for 4-color Delver and Legacy.
Here comes the young Pyromancer.
Backed up with a Ponder.
How young do you think this Pyromancer is? Like preteen?
Well, yeah, whenever I look at the art, it does always look like somebody that's up to mischief.
Like not really, like maybe like 13? I'd say between 12 and 14.
And there's the wasteland to
Hit the Savannah.
Yep. So no Batterskull next turn. Yeah.
You try to hit the block source there, because he has access to.
Well, the green white will make the Nakadal weaker as well. Although the Nakadal is going to get the Hierarch triggers, 2 of them, so it's still a 3/3.
That's true.
Yeah, the Pyromancer, it's always been one of my favourite cards, and it was in one of my modern, actually the first modern deck, the one I was talking about off microphone, the cheap one that I built. He always looks like he's got, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl actually, but the Pyromancer always looks like they've got some sort of very wise, not master, but teacher.
Yeah, I mean, is that not young Chandra?
Well, yeah, because when the Origin set came out, there was the Pyromancer's Goggles was a quite a popular card at one point,
Hmm.
and so I think that was part of the Chandra storyline. But I've never been one of those ones that reads Magic folklore, so I don't really know the stories behind them.
Yeah, I mean, I love the stories, but I only started reading around kind of cons or Fate Reforged, so I don't know the whole backstory, but I love reading the stories every week.
Yeah, well, actually, probably one of my favorite characters in Magic is Narset, and Narset Transcendent is one of my favorite cards. So that kind of got me motivated to read the Khan stories. But somebody gave me a one of those Amazon things that you can Kindle type things to read books, and so I got into it then. But for some silly reason, I don't know why, the Khan's block is not on ebook from
Mhm.
Wizards. You have to actually read it on a computer.
So
So
Alex able to cast Jite this turn, a very powerful card.
So just to read that card, whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage, you put 2 counters. Then you can remove one of those counters, and either the equipped creature gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. Another creature gets -1/-1, which is probably relevant to this match, or you gain 2 life. So you'd assume it's going on in the cardinal next turn, and it will be bye bye Delver.
Yeah, yeah. I assume Devin will have a removal spell for the Mikado here, but we'll see.
He is running very short. He's down to 3 cards. And I'm guessing because he let the GTA resolve, he's probably doesn't have a Force of Will. Or if he does have a Force of Will, he doesn't have the second blue source to go with it.
Yeah, running 4 colors, you run that risk, right? If you have the force, but no other blue card.
And if I just look back a couple of turns to the Ponder, I forgot to see what he did with it. Oh, he topped all 3, then drew, so he didn't. He must have been pretty happy with what he saw.
He's a Pride Mage.
Does he have a land here? Otherwise, what's the equip for the GTA? GTA is 2, so he chose the Pride Mage over equipping the GTA.
Hmm.
He's going to have 3 Exalted triggers, which will put.
I guess he figures it doesn't matter so much if the Delver flips. It's just okay. There's the Bolt. So he played around that nicely. If he had spent his whole turn equipping and attacking and then got bolted, that would have been, I don't know,
Yes.
disastrous, but it's definitely a setback.
The Pride Mage is a bit of a strange one here to main deck, I think. As I say, I'm not familiar with Legacy, so I'm kind of learning as I go along, picking things up.
Yeah, I'm still. What kind of deck is it? It's kind of like he's got the cat for sort of aggressive, and he's got Stoneforge to get pick up Batter Skull. He's got some hierarchs. It's kind of like a not quite. I guess it's kind of mid-rangey.
It seems to there's obviously an exalted theme going on there. The Delver flips from Ponder, but normally when you see Stoneforge with the GTA and the Batterskull, it's some sort of blue white or um, white black variation. I think the name is the deck is Stoneblade or Stoneblade. I think it's called.
Hmm.
But I've played two seasons of Legacy in the X Mage League now, and I haven't run into either of these decks yet. And we do have there's a very good Legacy player, Dylan Magica, who won Standard for Season 1. He hasn't played Season 2 or 3 in the league, and He plays a pretty like he's a very good legacy player. I sometimes play against him. He runs a artifact heavy deck. Some of the artifacts in legacy are just insanely powerful.
So Devin tops from the ponder and then no shuffle. Gets in there with the Delver. Or I guess I should say the Insectile.
It'd be interesting actually to survey people and ask them, do you know what if they know what the Delver is? And I mean, I'm talking about Magic people, and then to ask them what's the flip side of the Delver. See how many people actually know.
Human insect.
Oh, now we have our first problem of the match. Devin has dropped.
Hopefully he can reconnect. While he's trying to get back, I'm just looking at the flavor text for the Insectile aberration. It's quite creepy. Unfortunately, all my test animals have died or escaped, so I shall be the final subject. I have no fear. This is a momentous night. Laboratory notes, final entry.
It didn't turn out well. It's kind of, and I think it had a follow-up as well in either Eldritch Moon or Innistrad. Shadows over Innistrad. There's like I forget the name of the card, but it was the 4 mana, essentially the same thing as Delver. It flipped the same way, and it generated a bit of excitement initially, but after that, it just never made an appearance.
Here we go. The Aberrant Researcher.
Ah, that's the one. Yes.
Transform into the perfected form.
Because the Delver of Secrets, what set does it come from? Let me have a look. It'd be. Oh, there you go. The Delver comes from Innistrad, and the follow-up is Shadows over Innistrad. So, I'm sure we have listeners that know the lore more than I do, and there must be some connection there.
Yeah, all these small little things that Wizards does is just, I love it.
Yeah, and good news, Devin is back. He managed to reconnect.
Plays a white source, Caracas, and here comes the Jite.
Jite onto the Pride Mage, I'm guessing.
Tapping the Hierarchs. Interesting. Let's see if there's a removal spell here.
And the trigger for the Jite only occurs once combat damage has happened, so he can block with the Elemental.
Here's the Dismember.
I mean, the thing for Devin here is he probably long term is looking at that the Batterskull that's about to come down. Alex is still looking for that 5th mana source, so he's probably wanting to do something for the Hierarchs, but he's only got 2 cards left in hand.
I mean, the Jite is going to hit eventually.
And the other thing with the Jite is it gives Alex something to do when he doesn't have anything available. So rather than do nothing if it's 2 mana, he can at least equip. Whereas you pointed out earlier, it would have been a blowout if he had not played the Kasali Pride Mage.
Right, but unlike this turn he wasn't able to have a follow-up creature to play. Devin just passes without playing a land, so maybe 3 spells in hand.
2, 4. See if he can hit that land this time. Okay, I've never seen never seen this one in Legacy before.
Knight of the Reliquary gets +1/+1 for each land in your graveyard. Here's the counter spell, just the hard counter spell here.
And I wonder if Devin's been holding that in anticipation for the Batterskull as well.
And if Devin's just got some counters and removal in hand, then these 4 damage a turn, 3-turn clock.
Well, there's just having a look now. There's 1, 2. There's 2 lands in the graveyard, so he would have been a 4/4, which would have been out of bolt range.
And Devin takes 2. It goes to 11. 11 to 11.
Yeah, I think at this rate it's probably slightly favouring Devin in the race, taking 4 with the access to Lightning Bolt as well. But Batterskull, oh, he's going to get rid of the Batterskull now. But with the Carbal Therapy, but Batterskull, I was going to say, has the lifelink, which would be too much to overcome. So just to read the text on that, he names a non-land card. The target player then reveals his hand and discards cards with that name. So he knows that Batterskull is there. He named Batterskull, but he only reveals Punishing Fire.
Punishing Fire in hand.
Did we miss something there? What happened to the Batterskull?
No, he discarded.
I see. He named Batterskull, so Batterskull gets discarded, and Punishing Fire is the last card.
No red source. So he's got all 5 colors: green, white, blue, black, red.
Yeah. Has he even had a card in the... I mean, just checking his graveyard. He had the Wooded Foothills that could have searched up the red.
I mean, I think maybe you sack the Elemental there to get rid of the Punishing Fire so that the Delver can just keep hitting for 3. If he draws a red source here, or I guess he's going to attach the GT. So Devin hopefully has some piece of removal here. And otherwise, the GT can just pick off the Delver, the Insectile.
No, is it 1 counter or 2?
It's 2.
No, target creature gets -1/-1.
Yeah, but he can just remove 2 counters and give it -2.
Yes. You're correct. And the other important line there as well is he can get 2 life.
That's right.
So pull away from, if it got to a race.
Oh, and the damage happens. So we gotta some GT counters.
See if he does it.
Probe.
So we're going to see what those last 2 cards are. Pays for the probe.
It's weird. The Cabal Therapy we can see, but the probe we can't. Right?
Oh.
So.
Again, he comes for 4 a turn. We'll see the GT response.
I mean, I think you just go for the insect here.
Yep. Oh, he's chosen to take the 2 life instead.
Interesting. Gonna pick off the Elemental then?
Just takes the damage. I'm guessing perhaps he's just going to wait and see if a young pyromancer gets played, and then if it doesn't, he can pick it off at the end of the turn.
Yep, that's a good
No.
thought.
Not
Still no play, no land drop either, so presumably 3 spells in hand. And I guess did he end up gaining? Oh no, there's still 1 counter on the GTA.
So when Devin's got 3 cards, this is a good test. He still has the double blue if he's got another counter spell. Oh.
Rainstorm.
Now, I don't believe he's playing Days. I spoke to him offline beforehand. This could have put us into an awkward position with the Days, because he can actually pay with the Hierarch. Oh.
Force.
Oh, he does have Days. So he puts it into his exile zone. I did send a message to both of them prior to this match, both players, with regards to the Days problem. For those that don't know, there's an error in X-Mage where it functions as a hard counter, so it doesn't allow you to pay the 1 to prevent the counter. So our workaround until X-Mage is fixed is that you can only cast it in a situation where the person is tapped out, or where you want them to specifically, for some reason, not pay. So in other words, you
It was
don't.
working fine last week, so hopefully this is just a temporary issue.
Yeah, I heard about this morning, and I'm not aware of any updates that have occurred in the last couple of days. But essentially, the attempted workaround is just to basically prevent people abusing it as a hard counter.
The GTA got 2 more counters, and then
What's he doing this time?
I think he gained 2 life already.
Yeah, it looks like he chose to gain the 2 life prior to combat.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect he might be just setting up, chipping away to try and get the +2/+2 to do the last 4.
The GTA activation here.
He's going to take the elemental this time.
And also gain 2 more life. I mean, GTA is just such a powerful, flexible card.
But he's put himself in the position now, though, where the GTA doesn't have any counters on it, so if Devin for some reason wants to change gears, he can hold the Insectile Aberration back as a blocker, and the GTA won't get the counters. And
Well, it doesn't. It only has to deal combat damage. It doesn't even have to.
Oh, it's combat damage. It is 2 combat damage. Again, the Gataxian probe that we can't see.
Wasteland.
So he's down to 4 life. He can't attack this time.
GTA is just doing so much work here.
All this just with the Bazooka Bog and the Caracas from very early on.
Oh, there's the punishing fire. Mana.
he, and Alex is thinking, finally, removes the Delver,
And that's game.
and there's a concession.